Hello, good afternoon, everyone. We have today a very, very special guest, Ike Moriz from South Africa. He is actually a German, so we've just chatted a little bit in our mother tongue. Most welcome, Ike. You are a musician, and we are very, very happy to have you here on our chat today.
Hi Sylvia, hi Alfie. Nice to see you on your special platform here, and thanks for having me. Yeah, fantastic.
Wonderful. We only had the pleasure actually to have one musician here already, and you are right now the second one. And I think it's very important for all of us to hear a little bit about your story, maybe also how it happened that you came to South Africa. And what is your history like in music? Was it always when you was a child your dream to become a musician, or just did it happen somehow by accident? Like so many stories in our life, they like a path is guiding us to somewhere we are today. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, somebody must have had a plan because I didn't. Yeah, I was always in love with literature and acting and theater, and I actually, when I was a teenager, I thought I was going to be a writer or an actor, and but yeah, sort of exploring music at an early age. I was always a big fan of British music, like David Bowie and Suede and Pulp, the sort of Brit pop era, and also the 70s. And yeah, that was always very exciting. And I started exploring, just playing guitar and singing along and so on, but never really thought about it much. And singing those songs that I liked, and yeah, at some point I was sort of seriously after finishing school, and yeah, I sort of thought, okay, what am I going to do now, you know? And like a lot of people at that time, I started studying economics, which was super boring. Um, and I decided now I need to do something different, and you know, and then I kind of came back to that thought of doing writing, and because I was always writing, and but I also had played at the theater and done a couple of roles and so on, and so I sort of, it was kind of like a mental thing, like a mental exercise where I thought, okay, let's do put these three things together: music, acting, and writing, and see what happens. So. Yeah, and I literally just started going to a singing teacher who was luckily very good and very excited, and made me feel very, you know, gave me gave me some hope that there might be a chance. So yeah, I went to a lot of different universities in Germany at the time and applied, because it's quite difficult to get into those universities. They would only take like 1 or 2 people per year, singers, you know. Yeah, I got accepted at 3 different places, and yeah, and I started I believe your hometown in Dresden, and got a place there at the University of Music, the Hochschule für Musik, Karl Maria von Weber, and studied there for 4 years. So that's kind of where it all started, and
It's a very famous, is actually a very famous place to study music.
I believe so. Yeah, there's a lot of people, more classical singers that came from there as well. Like my singing teacher there sang all the big Wagnerian operas at the opera house right next door, and it was a very yeah, it was a very interesting time for me, because it was still quite close to the time where you know, when the wall had come down. So it was still yeah. I still remember that first day when I arrived.
Early ages.
Yeah, arriving at the train station, and everything looked very yeah, it looked like in movies, you know, like still bullet holes in the walls everywhere, and everything was gray from that from heating with coal. I think the whole city had like the same color. And I just getting off the train, there was this big sign, and it was a beer advert, and it said in German "blumige Aussichten," which means, you know, like flowery future, or like, you know, something like that. And I thought, like, well, maybe this is a sign, you know.
Yeah.
They've got beer here. No, but you know, like, maybe this could work. But yeah, it was a
But
very
by
very
the way,
interesting time.
Dresden is also one of the most beautiful towns in Germany. A little bit underestimated because a lot of people, particularly here in South Africa, don't even know about that town and the history itself.
Yes, it's such an incredible city. I mean, it was such a beautiful time there, studying there, exploring all these beautiful old buildings, and also the beautiful forest and the. It's so nice. Actually,
Yeah.
I come from Hamburg, and we have the river Elbe running through there somewhere, and the same river runs through Dresden, which is miles away. Like I don't know, like 600, 700
Yeah.
kilometers away.
I studied there as well, by the way. I mean, I
Oh,
know
is it?
it's not my,
Yeah.
but I know the feeling, and it's beautiful. I mean, I think I was there just a little bit later, but like it's a beautiful city for also just tourists. You know, I mean, lots
Yes,
of
yeah.
culture, lots of
Sure,
things
yeah.
to explore in the environment. It's really beautiful. So for everyone who wants a German recommendation, Dresden is most definitely a place that people shouldn't miss. But
Not
sorry,
far
I
yes.
from
think so, yeah.
Dresden, actually, also
Berlin.
the porcelain manufactory, like the most
Yes, the
famous
Meißner porcelain. Yeah,
porcelain. So a lot of people maybe know about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going there
Yeah,
to check
but
it out. Very
like
nice
coming
place.
back to your story.
Yes, yeah.
Like
So I studied there for 4
from
years and
Dresden.
to South Africa. The thing is, before I even started studying, I've got quite a bit of family in South Africa, and an uncle of mine had a citrus farm here in Clanwilliam, just up the west coast. And I remember, like, as a child, he would always come visit, and there was always this excitement when he would come. Like, everything was so different about him, and he would bring exotic presents and tell crazy stories about monkeys and and I don't know, snakes and so
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, when I finished my German Abitur, the matric there, I I had to do the army, unfortunately, which was not a great time. But what helped me survive the army was that thought of going to South Africa, because my uncle had invited me to live on his farm and work on his farm for a while to just see what it's like. And that's how I got basically got the connection to South Africa in 1992. It was, yeah, so quite a long time ago. And then after that time here, I went back, and then only then I started studying, and but I always had that in the back of my head. It was this like urge to go back to South Africa, because I just felt, hello, that's a nice visit here, good day. I'm gonna say hello as well.
Oh, the cutie.
She always comes when you're just
Also
sitting down
wants to
somewhere.
be in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I studied in Dresden, as I said, after coming back from South Africa, and after 2 years there, I missed South Africa so much that I organized it so that I could go to do a student exchange program, and going here to the College of Music in Cape Town, and I did half a year here with all the fabulous
Okay.
professors and all the awesome students. I mean, so many. I studied with like Judith Sepuma and a lot of very famous musicians, and it was a fantastic time. Yeah. And after that, I went for half a year to Rotterdam and finished the second half of my year abroad at the College of Music there, and then back to Dresden to finish off the college there. I did a degree in singing and teaching music, and and literally on the last day of studying there, I went to the UK, because I always had this, because all the music that I liked, and all the art and literature, a lot of those inspirational people that I was fond of came from the UK. So I sort of thought, okay, I got to start in London. London is the place to go when it comes to music and Europe, because I didn't like America. So let's go to London.
Yeah, you are allowed to say that.
Yeah, finally I'm allowed to say it now. After everything that happened.
Yeah.
On our channel, that's
I've predicted this 20 years ago, but anyway. No, yeah. I lived in London for 6 years and did a lot of things there. Like I had a rock band there, and we toured quite a lot. And yeah, I had my first #1 hit in 2002 there. I worked with George Michael's producer, Steve Kent, for my very first single, which was actually sort of a suicidal song, but it's called Fall Into the Sun, and everyone thought it was a happy summer tune. So somehow it made it onto a lot of number ones in the charts in South Africa, and a lot of radio stations in the UK played it. And yeah, so that's, I don't know, like I'm just talking so much here. Like, you must stop me if you have any.
No, it's fine.
Any
Like,
questions?
we want to hear your story. So
This is why we are here, actually.
And then we're going to ask you some questions. We are now just following your story to actually can ask you some questions.
Yeah.
I have already a list in my mind that I'll ask you, but I still want you to just
And I hang on your lips actually to listen and to hear like what is the story, like how then it came that you come to live
took the
here.
return ticket.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, as I said, I had this rock band there, and I also worked a lot on movies. I did a lot of small parts in soap operas like EastEnders and The Bill and Family Affairs, and yeah, I mean, like quite a lot. I can't even remember most of the stuff. A couple of movies as well, like Love Actually and Alfie, and gosh, there was some Jackie Chan thing as well. A lot of small little parts and movies. It helped to kind of survive in London. And yeah, with the band, we actually we almost got signed with a major label. And like it always is in bands, somebody has got a big head and thinks he needs to do bigger things, even than we were doing at the time. And yeah, we lost a couple of people there, and then it all fell apart. And I thought, I had invested so much time into this band thing that I thought, okay, no, I'm going to go solo now, because it's just, I can't waste so much time on this. Like, and I need to, focus on what I want to do there. And so yeah, and then I was very lucky, as I said, to find this amazing producer for the first single. And then very quickly I did after the success of the first 2 singles, actually, also it got recognized by one of my big idols, which was, as I said, David Bowie. And he saw the songs I was doing, and he put it on his website at the time and recommended it to other people. So I was like very chuffed, and I felt like I was doing the right thing, stepping away from the band and going solo. So yeah, I recorded my first album there, Mirrors and Shade. That then came out a year later, like 2004, I think. And
Okay.
yeah, started my second album, which was kind of an indie pop rock sort of album, very melodic. I always test it on my parents. I mean, if they like it, then it's it's still palatable for the for the world. It's not too crazy. But yeah, so after that, yeah, I just got fed up with London, and eventually, after 6 years, of no summer, and living in this sort of very unhealthy and very polluted city, and I had lots of friends, but you would never be able to see each other. Everyone was working so hard and traveling, like it took to get from one place, one side of the city to the other would take like half a day. It was, yeah, eventually I sort of had a bit enough of the UK, and just like a spur of the moment, the same way I went to England was, I just bought a ticket to South Africa and decided to go on actually just on a holiday at the beginning. It was in 2005, and I was just so blown away here again. I had been back many times, like over the years, almost pretty much every year once for a holiday. And but in 2005, it was sort of for the first time I took my guitar along, and I played a few gigs here just for the fun of it. And the response was just so overwhelming. I mean, in the UK at the time, it was a very strange time. I mean, it was probably about like 20,000 bands in London trying to be the next whatever, Snow Patrol or whatever was sort of famous at the time. It was so intense, and all the places where we would play original music, they all one after the other decided, no, we're going to do now, we're going to do karaoke, and we're going to do whatever DJs, and and so there was no more. It felt like there was no more place to do what I wanted to do. So it became a little bit insane. And then at that time, going to summertime in Cape Town, and everyone was loving what I was doing, and it was sort of like a no-brainer. I just decided, okay, no, I'm gonna do this now. And I was just in the middle of a new album as well, and
Cool.
it was a very exciting time, 2005, and came back here. And I think because I was the new kid on the block then, it was very quickly that I was like all over the TV and all the magazines and stuff. So that was all very exciting. It was kind of like a bit of a taste of fame and all that. It was kind of like, wow, why didn't I come here earlier? But yeah, and
Why did you come earlier?
yeah, and it was just so. I mean, for me, the main thing why I love South Africa was always the nature. I mean, I always that was the first thing I've experienced here, coming to Cape Town. I didn't even see Table Mountain when I arrived here. I arrived at night in the 90s, and I went straight to the farm in Glenwilliam, and just waking up to see this beauty and the animals, and I come from a very flat part of the world in Hamburg, and suddenly seeing mountains and waterfalls,
Yeah.
and baboons jumping around and riding horses, and snakes and leopards, and it was very invigorating and exciting, and I also it was also a little bit of an experiment. I mean, I kind of just letting everything go that I had built up in the UK, because I was living very comfortable life there. I had good jobs and was very comfortable. I had all the different color credit cards, and it was all going very nicely. But the experiment to actually let go of everything was very made me feel much lighter and much more focused and excited. And I basically did a whole album about it. And there was a song called "I Feel Real," where we literally, in the music video, there was a big pile of stuff that we just burnt, and it was sort of, which I literally did. I kind of left everything behind. I came with a suitcase. That's it. It was it was very cool. And from then onwards, I very quickly found awesome musicians here to work with. Come to think of, a lot of them are actually not living here anymore because they, it's been a while ago now. I don't know, very great session musicians like Mike Horn, who played on many albums. Gorm Halfjord, he was amazing, a Norwegian guitarist who also doesn't live here anymore. I worked with Melanie Scholz. She's now in New York, I think. So many amazing people, and working here at Paris Studios in Fishhook to do my third album. And so things.
It's great. It sounds. Can I just interrupt for 1 second, because I don't want to roll too far back, but I think one thing for people out there, and know we have people not only from South Africa but from different parts of the world, and we are very big when it comes to being ambassadors for not only South Africa but for Africa, to really let people know how beautiful this place is, because there's a lot of stereotypes still out there of what Africa, but also what South Africa looks like for the majority part of things. I mean, of course we have crime, of course we have poverty, of course we have some things we don't like, but for the majority of things, we are living in the most beautiful place on earth. I just always call it that, piece of paradise. And I think you can relate to it much more when you come from somewhere else. Maybe when you live here, you see it as something very normal, something ordinary, something that you are so used to. But really, the feeling and the people and the emotions that it brings to you, when you come here, I always say it, when I come to the airport and the officer at immigration takes my residency, the small green card, and says welcome home, with a big smile. And this is a feeling that I could not find anywhere in Europe. I lived in the UK, I lived in London for many years. like YouTube for 40 minutes. Like, you know, I rode the bus for like a day to get from A to B. Like, but this was like, it's a totally different lifestyle in terms of even entertainment and culture than Africa, because there is a different cultural aspect to it. But just, and this is really what I maybe want you to like express, like, how are you feeling when you say like South Africa is your home now? Like, what does it do like inside of you, in your soul? Like, what did you find here that you didn't find anywhere else?
And has it influenced your music actually?
Yes, of course. I mean, gosh, yeah, where to start? I think, yeah, it is one of the most beautiful places in the world for sure. And I've been around. I mean, I've pretty much, I haven't been to America, proudly, but I have, but I've been pretty much everywhere else and played in a lot of places. And I have never seen anything like it, like what we have here. And you know, it's especially Cape Town is such a cosmopolitan place. You know, it's such an amazing mix of people, and yeah, and it's really such a beautiful place. For me, I mean, growing up in the northernmost part of Germany, it's almost, I always say, it's like it was pretty much Denmark where I grew up. It was yeah, it's so close to Scandinavia.
Yes.
I actually can't really identify even that much with other Germans, because I think my background is so different from, like, let's say someone that comes from Munich or like from southern Germany or something. You know, it's sort of it's quite different, and it's a very reserved. I think people are a little bit more reserved. I would say, like, you know, a lot more serious, very honest. You know, very they will tell you honestly what they think if you ask them, you know, like they're not going to make up a big story or be all polite and British and, you know, like, you know,
very straight to the point.
Yes, they will, like,
Very
sometimes also,
Hanseatic.
yes, yeah, and it can also be quite uncomfortable to people from different cultures, like from like, for example, from Britain or South Africa. They don't understand, like, Jesus, this is, you know, and when you ask a German, they will really tell you, you know, what they think. So yeah, so it's quite a serious background. I mean, you know, also influenced obviously by the climate, by the weather, by a lot of people living in a very you know, very dense area, very close to, on top of each other, which results in everything having to be quite regulated, you know, just to keep it safe, you know. And then you know, when you say you come to the immigration officer and he gives you a big smile and a stamp, you know, that feeling, you know, I can identify with that, because it's, you know, coming here is, I mean, especially when I came here first, and, like, you know, as pretty much a teenager, it was, yeah, it was just such an experience of freedom, like, you know, the space. I mean, just to have the space and the freedom to do so many things that you just can't do in Europe, you know, because it's just, everything is so over-regulated. I mean, it's yeah, it's
That's
just
right.
it's such an incredible place, and everything, you know, we also have very strict rules, as we're just experiencing right now in this phase, but they're not quite as written in stone as they are in you know, as they are overseas. Here everything is a little bit more relaxed, and you know, and that can sometimes be a little bit annoying as well, you know, because a lot of people not sticking to the rules can also cause a lot of problems sometimes. But I prefer the lightness, you know, of being, and also, like, here you have to sort of, you know, you have to think for yourself quite a lot more. Like, you know, I always say, like, if a robot is green here, you don't just walk across. I mean, you just, you know, you can't just, like, in Germany, for example, there's a little green dude there coming up when you're supposed to walk over the traffic light. People walk, you know. They're not looking left or right. They're going to walk, you know, because it's their right to go, and it's like, you know, that's how it's written in the law and everything. Here, you do that, you're dead, you know. So yeah. So you have to kind of be a little bit more
it's
awake.
right. And I mean, I think, like, and it's nice to hear that that we are not alone, first of all, that we see that you feel the same, but also that these are the things that really make this place, I don't want to say extraordinary, but really special for people who enjoy freedom on different levels, and who really like want to live a life that is not very regulated in many ways, because as you said, and again, it has a pro and a con. Things are
Yes.
not always as regulated as we are used to. I mean, coming from Europe, like really like from like everything, like really people cannot understand that there's, for example, a
From
law.
birth,
Yeah.
there's everything regulated.
A law
This
that
is-
makes frogs only like, I don't know,
Yeah.
like noise at a certain hour, and if that's not the case, then you have to
Remove
like
the frogs.
frogs from the pond, you know. So this is something that is not like even to comprehend for people here, but this is also what makes it very easygoing in a certain way. And what I think, and this is maybe coming back to your music career, in a lot of ways, not only South Africa, but Africa gives you still the opportunity to leave footprints for many different things, in many different industries. And I think that is maybe also something in your early ages, like, and I mean 2000s, like 5 still or 2, like around that a mark, that was quite early on. So I think it gives an opportunity for people who have an entrepreneurial spirit but still are creatives, and I mean you are a creative in your own right, to just experiment also here on a different level than in Europe, because I think in Europe, and I'm not sure how it is for your industry, maybe you tell us a little bit more about the music scene as such. Is it very overpopulated? I mean, how hard is it to really like make a hit? Like how difficult it is to set yourself apart in Europe, where music may be like a little bit on a different exposure than here in South Africa. I don't want to say it's easier here than there, but I think just from the history of what happened here, you just have much more opportunities than anywhere still in Europe. And I mean, it's as a matter of fact, we came here because we found opportunities that we could not find in Europe anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier as well, I mean, being in London where everyone is fighting for that tiny little piece of cake, it was so hard. I mean, just if I just remember like those early days in the 99, 2000, being in London, recording little demos and sending it to all the record labels, and like you get like no answers, like it was like I sent it everywhere, there was no reply. You try to talk to the secretary of someone, or like no chance. Like this is just, it was like when you're lucky. I mean, we were lucky enough that we did a gig somewhere and there was a person from a record label that approached us, and then I got some contacts through that. But that was really the exemption, I would say. Like, I mean, this was not a typical thing that would happen easily. And coming here, I mean, I was also lucky in a way, I suppose, because I had already found my footing overseas, and that counted for a lot here. Like, when I came here, that people would really respect that I had already I had made it there, with my own original music and so on. And that was, that really helped to start off here. And sure, I mean, there wasn't, I mean, if I think of the style of music I was doing mainly indie pop. And most people didn't know what that was. They were like, is this heavy metal, or is this jazz, or is this, or is it's not Pearl Jam, so I don't understand. Like, that was sort of, and it's not Nirvana, it's not Pearl Jam, and it's not jazz. So what is it? So it was like I had to do a lot of talking all the time. But it was, I mean, I remember like playing in Joburg in the early days, like doing concerts together with the Parlotones when nobody knew them, and we were doing gigs together in Johannesburg at the Blues Room and places like that. And I thought, wow, these guys are really cool. I really liked their stuff, and I thought, this is sort of the music, the British-oriented, colorful music that I like. That's a bit more edgy, and it's not so predictable and mainstream, so I literally set up meetings with all the record labels in South Africa, like EMI, Sony, and so on. And I would speak to the CEOs of these record labels. I was like, wow, like how is this possible? I mean, that was just wow, so I got a lot of great advice from a lot of people there. I also figured out that record labels in South Africa were mainly just pushing overseas music, so they weren't much use to me. Like, they were just selling, whatever album Madonna was bringing out, or whoever that everybody knew already. They weren't interested in actually working with an artist to create a profile and do something new. There was very few, only like places like maybe Gallo or Music, or that had.
Can I ask you? Do you think it was because? Can I ask you? Just sorry to interrupt. Can I ask you? Do you think this was because just the lack of experience, like because no one has ever done it before, or because they just simply didn't see the potential in this as a market? Because I think that is one of the key drivers, isn't it? I mean, for the music industry as such.
Sorry, are you saying that going to record labels in this case would be something that other people wouldn't think about? Oh, sorry, I'm not quite getting what you're asking.
No, what I'm saying is, like you said, like the record labels were not interested actually, like really at the time, like in the past, like because I believe they have never even had someone to come to them to say, this is me, this is my portfolio, like this is maybe what what I want to achieve, or this is where I want to go, like to support people like that, because everything was rather very
preset.
Yeah, preset.
Yes.
Like, there was no out of the box thinking in that way.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, maybe that was it. I mean, I think, as I said, having done having had some success overseas, really made it very easy, to I don't know if it would have been the same if I would have said, hey, I'm from Camps Bay, and I think maybe they would have just gone, whatever, send us a demo or something, So it was, I think it's quite unfair actually, because I think a lot of people from here would have, totally, also deserved the same chance. But anyway, that's just the way it was, but you're right, I guess, because, you come out of a different scene and a different mindset, and I think that is certainly true. I mean, at the time, I remember also in the 90s, I mean, so many people came here and would do things that would be considered quite straightforward, normal stuff that you would do overseas, but here it was unheard of. Like, so, I mean, there was always that opportunity, I guess, for those for people from overseas who had a lot of experience and so on from there that they brought along to do something here, because it hadn't been done before. I mean, like with the style of music, I mean, that I was doing as well. I mean, the only other band that was doing this sort of similar-ish style was the Parlotones at the time, and so you like immediately stand out like a sort of like a Bond, what's that expression? Anyway,
Can I ask you a totally different question that just popped up to my mind? I mean, you are a very creative person as a musician, and you are married to a very creative person. I know Madri is very creative, so the whole family is in a certain way a creative family. Are you making something or doing something like home music with your kids?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Actually, I just posted something yesterday. No, we actually, I'm very proud. My daughter, the little one, she's just turned 7 a couple of weeks ago, and we only this year decided, she obviously, I mean, she was sitting at concerts when she was like 1 week old. So I mean, she's always had music is all around her, and but I've never been like pushing her in any way whatsoever. But this year she sort of said like, Papa, I want to play, I also want to play like you on piano, and so we decided to start with, very early, when she was just 6.5, started with piano lessons, and she's just absolutely loving it. I mean, we work together, or I'm supporting her a lot with that. And just recently, like literally 3 weeks ago, for the very first time, and again, I've never ever asked her to do it or pushed her in any way. She sort of started singing and stuff, and I was like, "Wow, you sound really nice," like for a little kid like that, you're actually hitting the notes. Like you kind of get the difference between up and down, and high notes and low notes.
What a surprise! Huh?
Yeah, so it was
It
actually.
doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
Yeah, definitely, I guess. There's something happening there. Yeah, it's quite exciting. And, with this whole lockdown thing now, that's really played in favor of this, so because I have so much more time, and so does Margie. I mean, Margie also plays piano, and so she's been, my little one, Sophia, she's been having online lessons now because she obviously can't go and see anyone. And so Margie can support her for some practicing. I can support her, and yeah, she's been absolutely loving it. And now just I think there's a bit of a she goes to in Llandudno here to school, and we were just told that there's a Llandudno Got Talent thing happening there or something for next week. And we were asked if we want to take part and so on. And so we basically took one of her little favorite songs and we changed the lyrics and basically made a bit of a thing, sort of like a tribute to our cat that she loves so much. And so yeah.
Wow, that's
And it's been so much fun.
Yeah. It's a benefit to have a dad that can sing, right?
Yeah, I mean there is overshadowing all other dads in the classroom. I think. Exactly. Can I ask you, because you said the Corona thing that we are in right now, how does the situation right now affect your creativity or your productivity? I don't know even how you maybe want to call it yourself, but I mean, obviously, I think from a family perspective, spoken to in the last couple of weeks, said, I just enjoy the time being around my family much more because, I mean, obviously, the weekends are booked out for you, Saturday, Sunday, public holidays, Fridays, usually when families actually are having their family time, we all in the event industry, or you specifically in the entertainment industry, are working. So now that you have the chance to just spend more time with your family, I think that's great, although the circumstances are not. But how does that interfere, or how does it affect your creativity? I mean, I heard you speaking before. You are productive, you're doing things. So how is it for you?
Yeah, I think like many people, or like most people, I think we were all a little bit in shock. It took me quite a long time, and I think I'm still processing this situation. It was a bit of a shock at the beginning, it was kind of like a 9/11 sort of moment. You just like, what's going on? This is really actually happening, and because it's such a weird thing, because it's so invisible, and it's it's not like there's bombs exploding left, right, and center, or something that there's nothing tangible. It's just sort of invisible. So it didn't really feel real, but yeah, I think I got as I said, I think shock. Then there was also like a phase of maybe being angry, with this situation, and not wanting to allow this to bring us down, not to, because I mean, we only have this one life, we only have this one day, that's for certain. This moment at the moment is for certain. Don't know what's going to happen in an hour from now. I don't know what's going to happen in a week from now. So I'm not going to allow this thing to bring us all down and to put us into a paralysis or something. That was sort of my immediate reaction. So I think we overcompensated a little bit by doing more than we would normally do. I think becoming more productive. I mean, I think just on every aspect, I think we were exercising more. We were cooking and baking, and we were working really long hours, doing PR work and yeah, it's almost like it's sort of pushed or pushed us into being even more productive, like, than we usually are. I think we all, I mean, our family's quite productive as it is, but yeah, it just sort of pushed us a bit further. And I was just in the sort of third of finishing my my now 20th album. And I was so angry that I couldn't go into the studio, and so yeah, there was a whole process of setting up a home studio, basically making something out of out of blankets, and making a little vocal booth, and finding someone where I can get a microphone and the software and everything. It was like and yeah, I was like the studio, Paris Studios, run by Paris Zanos. He very kindly kind of explained a lot of things to me over Zoom and so on, to how to run certain software, and so that I could at least record the stuff at home and then send it to him, so that he could mix it and get it ready. And so it was a very exciting process. And I did this little CD here. I don't know if you can see that there.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask
There.
because, like, right at the begin, we had a chat, and you was just at that time you was talking to me that you bought a mic just like before, like and things like that.
Yes,
And
yeah,
now
it was when we talked a
amazing
while
to
ago.
see how actually this is a COVID project for you.
It is.
That you finished like in lockdown, and this
Yes,
is just
yeah.
amazing. And tell us, like, where can how is your album called, and where can people actually get it?
The album is called Dragons. I started recording it last year. It's called Dragons, yeah, and it's on my website, ikemoriz.com, which is IKEMORIZ. You find all the links. You can, it's even if you just Google my name or Dragons,
Okay.
you'll get to. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes, Apple Music, Deezer, Napster. It's like, I think it's about 60 different websites. But if you want to order it from me personally, we have had some printed, manufactured. Despite not a lot of people buying CDs anymore, but it's always nice to, for some people, it's still nice to have the actual thing. Yeah. So yeah, that's been a very, very exciting
And
project.
you personally, can I ask you? I mean, obviously you're keeping a sample for yourself, but like, how is your personal preference? And I think your age is quite interesting, because I mean, you grew up in a time where there was no online music whatsoever, so it was unheard of, and obviously transitioning into like I would call it almost 90% like online music scene, where people like stream from their phones, from like wherever, Spotify, like on the go, while jogging, I don't know, on their way to work, but there's almost no CD play anymore anywhere.
Yeah.
But how was that feeling for you? And I mean, I'm sure also you maybe have still some vinyls or not, I'm not sure, but if you are a lover a little bit of older things, you might like hang on to that. But how was that transition, and how does it also maybe affect the industry, like generally? Is there something where you say right now, well, because of this technology right now, this and this has really changed in our industry?
Sure. I mean, this is a massive question. I try and give you an answer.
I don't
But
want
it's
to be
a
political right
no,
now.
it's
I don't want
such
to
a
put you on this political spot.
no. It's just such a big thing. I mean, things are changing at a rate that is mind-boggling. I mean, I often think of my parents and look at them. I mean, when we were children, my dad still had Super 8 cameras. He was making little personal recordings with these. I don't even know what they're called, like magnetic tapes or something, and then when it would break, then you would stick it together again,
Yes.
I'm not even talking about cassettes. I'm talking about before that, those big reels,
the big machines.
I mean,
yes.
just thinking of for them, I mean, like having to go from that to records to then it was, I think there were all these weird things like DATs and whatever they were called, these little magnetic tapes, these smaller ones. Then, obviously cassette tapes, whatever. I can't even remember there were so many. It's like, when you had a record collection, you had to kind of rebuy it every 5 years because the format would change, like it was just getting a bit ridiculous. Videotapes, and then it was DVDs, and it was Blu-rays, and this and that, and then now it's online this, and then you had everybody was copying from everyone on hard drives, and then it's all online, and now you have your cloud account, and you're streaming everything. You don't have anything anymore. If I think of what they have to go through, I mean, to think that my mum is on WhatsApp and has an email and
Yeah.
is probably watching this right now. Hello. That is really impressive, or my parents, But for me personally, I mean, it's look, I mean, I've got some very strong opinions, obviously, about what's going on in the music industry, because it's great for the consumer, but it's for the musicians, it's becoming ridiculous. I mean, if I look at the bottom line of what I'm making, I mean, if you look at this album and how much work this is, I mean, how many hours and how expensive it is to put this together, to record, to book musicians, to to have the graphic design done, to to also be in the spirit and the moment, and to be able to create this and to write the words and arrange the music, and it's a long story. And then it goes out there, and people can just listen to it, and it's like, most of the time it's free. Most of the time it's really free, despite us as creators not having allowed that to be free. Like, it's there's so many ways of getting stuff free. Like, and with the streaming, sure, I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm still trying to see how this can make any sense financially. I mean, because if I look at what I'm getting paid for someone listening to my album like 100 times, it doesn't make any sense. It's it doesn't make any sense at all. And I think that's what I was saying, is it's a big question, because I mean, it affects everything. It affects the quality of everything. I mean, people creating music can't afford to spend weeks in a studio and being all creative and stuff, because they have to pump them out like fast, because they're already old news the second they come out. So I mean, that's why we're hearing the kind of quality on the radio that we're hearing, because it's a lot of the times it's mass produced, very with very little individuality. I mean, most of the voices sound pretty much the same, because everything's auto-tuned to a point where I mean, Mickey Mouse could sing those songs, and it doesn't make a difference. So it is a big story there. Like, I'm hoping that
what I actually wanted to ask. Sorry, what I maybe wanted to ask is, where do you see the trend of how people are going to consume music from here? So what do you see? I mean, we are not in the industry, but I'm interested in like how you see the future of your own industry. So what do you think is going to happen? Like, how are people going to consume music, like, let's say from 3, 4, 5 years from now? Still the same, or like, is there some trend that you are seeing? Like, how are your sales going? Like, which mediums are maybe like working more or differently? Like, in which direction is it going?
All right. I mean, just from a sales perspective, I mean, I think at the moment the most popular thing for me personally is Spotify. For, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's people making playlists, and then of their favorite songs, and then they share those, and there's internet radio stations and so on that also have playlists, and people have that stuff running in the background, and every time it gets played, you get paid very little, but it's obviously the more the more songs are on these playlists, the more money comes to us in the end. But from a consumer perspective, I don't know. I mean, I could be I could be wrong, but I find that, like everything at the moment, like with movies, with everything, everything is so ready, so easily available, and so everything is produced so fast and so with not often, I think, the same attention to art and detail and really kind of like throwing your soul out there than it perhaps used to be, because there's just not the time for that anymore. I think the worth of music, or the worth of movies. I mean, if you look at Netflix and stuff, I mean, for example, everything comes out so fast, and you binge watch it in a day. You've finished like months of what other people worked on, and then it's just forgotten already. Next. Music. It's like oh, nice song, great, cool. I love this song. Okay, cool. Okay, next song. Like, I love this song now. What was that song I listened to? Oh, I can't remember. Okay, next song. So everything is so fast paced, and there's no more. Anyway, I think that's what I'm seeing. But I think what's dying, and what is which will then create a need again is basically the experience of really. I mean, when I was a teenager, I would be excited to unpack a new record and then look at the sleeve and open it up and read the lyrics, and then really kind of soak in the music, listen. I mean, go into my room and be completely engulfed in this.
Immersed in music.
Yeah, completely in this music, and then be taken to a different planet, and listening to it again and again and again, and learning the lyrics and loving it, and like,
the booklets and the little the booklets in between where you really can read all the little stories of the musician, and
even on the vinyl there was on the back side there was mostly written the lyrics read it actually on the back side of the
so I think that experience is gone. I think that experience is gone, and I think but it's something we need. We as human beings, we need to experience different perspectives. We need to escape our daily the things that we do every day, because that's
our
just
reality,
how we have to survive. I mean, we do stuff every day, but we need to be inspired, and we need to go to another place where we can see new possibilities and feel different things, and be exposed to new ideas and other feelings, and I think that is what we need as a species, this mass-produced stuff is not giving that to us,
Just one thing that I want to say, I think music is happiness, and I think this is also why we love entertainment, and what also we feel right now we are missing, not only music, in terms of music. Of course, we switch on the radio, there's music, but concert, live music, really listening to people. And I think that's just what I wanted to say before, this will not go out of style. And I think people after COVID, or whenever maybe social gatherings are allowed, this is what people are craving again, this experience for really going to a concert and meeting up with like-minded people, singing a song that they all know, together, chanting, and all of this. And there my question is, this is what the people like me sitting in the crowd, maybe cheering on Ike Moriz, is feeling. But how is your feeling when you are sitting now in your garden, and maybe I don't know how many concerts you must have canceled also over this last few months? How do you miss that feeling, like being on stage, being present, click, the light goes on, you see the crowd in front of you? Is there something where you say you really miss this feeling, or you say, no, right now I'm actually okay, I'm focusing a little bit on different things, happy when it's back, but it's not something that I'm really missing?
Oh, I do miss it very much. I would be overseas touring. I mean, right now, literally, I would have been overseas playing a lot of concerts, and it's I really am very sad that this cannot happen this year. I mean, I had some fantastic concerts booked. It was really kind of, it would have been quite a big tour this year, and very there's some fantastic concerts actually. Yeah, it's extremely sad, but they're not cancelled forever. They're going to be moved to next year. So I'm tremendously looking
It's
forward
not
to that.
cancelled,
And
it's postponed. We say in the
it's
wedding
postponed.
industry.
Yeah.
It's not
Yes.
cancelled, it's postponed.
Yeah, we're still getting married. Yeah. So no,
Yeah.
Exactly. Still listening to the music.
yes, yeah, no, I think that's still, I mean, nobody has a clue what's going to happen next year or how this will play out, obviously, because I mean, Jesus, apparently Kanye West is going to be the next president of America. So
Yeah, I just saw it yesterday as well. I was like, wow, this is world news.
And maybe
Yeah,
you
so
go for president, like same
Yeah,
way for South Africa. What can you
absolutely,
hold
yeah, nothing can hold me back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But one more question, like, came up to my mind when you was talking about the lyrics on the, like, in the past on the covers, and that's gone. Have you maybe thought about that, to put something similar to this to your album, like a little, like a booklet or whatsoever, that people can maybe have a feeling like that? Or is this not what you think, like, is
Yeah.
okay for these times?
No, I mean, I've always been someone who listens to the lyrics of songs, and it's for me is one of the most important things of a song. I mean, I also understand there's other music where it's more about the vibe, and it's not so important what's actually being sung there. But for me, lyrics has always been very, very important, and so I always have it on my website. There's a whole section, all the albums, all the lyrics are out there. I've also made sure that it's on all the lyrics websites, that are specialized in finding all the lyrics and stuff. So that's definitely out there. And yeah, just to finish off that thought from earlier, I think it's extremely important, obviously, or I assume that it will be extremely important for people to have that opportunity again to connect with music and with that world, and I think that I don't know. For me, at the moment, I think it needs to change. It needs to be more personal. It needs to be more accessible, and it needs to be more real than. And this sort of, there's such a strong trend for just, I want to be famous. And I want to make lots of money, and there's all this stuff out there where people have nothing to say. It's just out there. They're mimicking some sort of idea of a star or something. And it's all these excuse my French, stupid talent shows and whatever. I don't get the point of that. And I think there will be a time now again where, or not again, but there will be a new. There is a strong need for that, for people to connect with the music world on a level where they can really experience it again, and where they feel inspired again, and not just. Where it's not just oof, 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 and whatever. Like, I mean, there's a space for that too, but I think that we need to connect with that, as I said earlier, and I think we will find new ways. And obviously, live concerts are always a great way to do that, and that's a very personal, very intense, and very 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 great way of doing that. Not sure if it's of connecting, I think so.
And I think maybe just for all the South African people like out there, like, you are available. I mean, fingers crossed for whenever events are going to take place again. To also play at weddings and events, right? I mean, outside of your schedule when you're touring.
Yes, I mean, I've done a lot of. I'm extremely versatile. I do a lot of different kinds of music. I mean, I do rock, pop, blues. I play, I've done a lot of swing and jazz albums, and I've also written a lot of music in that genre, and obviously that suits weddings fantastically. So I've done a lot of weddings, receptions, or singing during dinner or even after, and. Obviously, working with lots of different musicians, we can offer all sorts of different scenarios there, and now we're actually getting quite a lot of bookings now, booking requests now, because it seems it's all changed into level 3.
Cool.
It's like, so it's actually very nice. So there's a lot of requests now, and my wife's also been extremely busy. They've been working quite hard on a new website called the weddingplanners.co.za, and where they sort of put together a group of service suppliers they've been working with over the years, and that they really enjoyed working with, and that, you know, where they know these guys are rock solid, you know, that, you know, there's not going to be any trouble. So yeah, so they've given people a platform there to basically talk about what they do and so on, and so that they can share it with potential customers, you know, brides and future husbands and so on. And yeah,
Tell her
so
the invitation is still open to her.
yes, yeah, I think she must. You guys must chat. I mean, because you're basically doing the same thing, right? I mean, more or less. I mean, she's not doing flowers, obviously, but when it comes to planning
we are
events and
all
so
in
on,
the
yeah.
big industry. I mean, like
Yes,
we
yeah.
love to work together with people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where the fun is there. I mean, I've worked with so many nice people in the wedding industry. It's such a it's quite different from the music industry. It's such a sort of small and very yeah, very very friendly and yeah, it's a great industry, I think. And there's a lot of awesome people there, and yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the next
I
wedding.
think we have had yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. We have had a little like insight in the world of music with you, and it was really, really interesting. Like having a little journey backwards from Dresden to Cape Town, and from your career like in London to your current situation and your new album. And I would say thank you so much, Ike, and we wish you lots of success, that a lot of people buy your new album, that a lot of people book you for their private events, and otherwise I can just say Ike for president.
Oh yay. Yeah,
Thank
I
you
think the
so
name
much for your
works.
time.
All right, yeah, thank you so much,
Thank you so
Sylvia and
much
Elfie.
for your time. I hope the dragon is flying high, and yeah, all the very best. Take care of yourself, and inspire with music. I mean, if this is your passion, then please follow your passion. And this is, I
Absolutely,
think,
yeah.
by the end of the day, people are measured by how many lives they touch. This is something that I strongly believe in, and I think musicians have a benefit because through their music they can touch just so much more people, that really goes deep down to the heart. So follow your heart, people. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good evening. Take care.
Yeah,
Bye
and
bye.
thank you so much for making this
Bye-bye.
platform and making this possible. That's awesome. Nice to see you guys, and
Thank
yeah,
you.
all the
It was
best.
just a
It was a
pleasure.
pleasure. Keep well.
Okay,
Bye
take care.
bye.
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 Thank you. Bye.